Hello, guys. How are you? So, this is just a quick HIPAA class. We've had the class out there for a while, and I figure I just wanted to kind of do it. So, we want to do it in a recording. So, I'm just kind of doing it in the recording because I might have to fix a couple of things in there. And again, when you guys are taking your coding exam, you never know what you may get. You may get some things on there as it relates to coding, as it relates to some of the compliance activities that you're going to need. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and do this real quick. I'm not sure why I disappeared, but I did. Um, in this segment, I'm going to use a slide that, I use, in the classroom. And anybody who's in the Sapphire Academy, you guys can also use this. When you go into the Sapphire Academy, you can, I know I'm downgrading. When you go in Sapphire Academy, you can find this there. This is in Sapphire Academy. Okay, but you guys on YouTube, you can take a look at this too. In the Sapphire Academy, there are a lot more things in there, and there's actually a test that goes with this. So this is how we prepare you for the coding exam. And one of the things is when you are studying for the exam, there are so many different segments that you do need to study, and that's why you also need your CPC guide as well. The CPC exam has numerous things on it. It looks easy. Maybe sometimes you hear things, it may be easy, but it's very challenging. So I want you guys to make sure you get what you need. Even if you don't use what I have on YouTube, I still want you to go ahead and find you a book, go to the library, find something on OSHA, find something on HIPAA. Okay, so let's kind of move on. We're just going to kind of go through the slides kind of quickly just to kind of get through. And again, these are your essential guidelines in medical coding, okay, that have to do with the coding exam. Okay, everything has to do with the coding exam. Okay. So again, why do we study, for HIPAA and OSHA? Of course, in my case, in your case, it may be on your test. So you need to know what PHI is, protected health information. If you guys did the billing class with me, then did you've already had some of this? Those of you who haven't done the medical billing class with me, go back through the playlist and you will see a lot of this in there. And you also can purchase any kind of book on HIPAA and OSHA, but it may be on your test. There's only maybe 3 questions on there, but those 3 questions, get one wrong and it's going to cost you a lot. Okay. So, again, just pay attention to it. The history and the purpose of HIPAA, the role and the requirements of OSHA. Just, get you something that you can study on that, or even, you know what I'm going to say, type it in on YouTube, and they'll have something on both of those subjects. So, slide 3 would be, the history of HIPAA. Know when HIPAA was enacted. Okay. Know the full name of HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Okay. It was signed into law by President Bill Clinton. Okay. So just be curious of these little small things. And I'm just going to kind of breeze through this. You guys can slow this down when you archive this. Okay. So again, your key milestone, HIPAA became the national standard for protecting health data. Okay. So just remember that we don't know what's going to be on the test. You don't know until you get there what's going to be on your test. So just study everything. Okay. And a lot of the slides that I have up here are, for you to kind of get through your coding exam. At least you'll know, some of the information that you need. Okay. What is OSHA? You guys can go ahead and read that. And what you're going to do is just slow this down, and you can get through this. Created by Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970. Okay, make sure you know what OSHA stands for, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. I can almost visualize that being on a test. Okay, guys. So make sure you know what that is. Okay, federal agency under the U.S. Department of Labor. Okay, and again, you can slow these down. This is not a live class, so you guys, when you guys archive it, just take a look at it, okay? And again, this is a slide that's in the Sapphire Academy, okay? And remember, Sapphire Academy is self-paced. You register today, you start tonight, start tomorrow, start whenever you want to. We send you all your information that you need to get started, your Sapphire email, your password to get into the portal, okay? Yeah, absolutely. You can download whatever you want. Okay. So OSHA is essential because it protects workers from recognized hazards. Okay. Now there's a big difference between the OSHA and the HIPAA. So I want you guys to definitely take that into consideration. Okay. Reduces work-related injuries and illness. Provides training and education for employees. So we're talking about OSHA right now, okay? And some of you guys that already work in a hospital, I mean, don't they give you like little tests every 3 months or every 2 weeks? You get a little test that you have to do on the internet or something. I'm pretty sure this is one of them. Okay, OSHA key responsibilities, conduct workplace inspections, prioritize imminent danger, offer training throughout, enforces standards to keep the workplace safe. Some of you who are custodians have to do this on a regular basis. Those of you who are going through hospitals, you might go downstairs, you might see a lot of signs up there. When I was at the college about 10 years ago, we built another school. We built a school on the far end of the campus, and I had to make sure that everything was in sight. So, because of a safety issue, we didn't want anybody to fall. We want anybody to use the wrong materials on their hand. We had a HVAC class, so I had to make sure that that class was par. Okay, I know I got this up in my face. Okay, so just be precarious of that. Okay, be precarious of that. Okay, so bloodborne pathogens. See, these are all these rules and things that you have to read to make sure everybody's safe. I mean, you can imagine people who work in custodial. I mean, they have to keep people safe. They have to have labels and know what's on these things. Even at the post office, I mean, you take so many classes to try to keep yourself safe. It's like, why? But when you take them, you go, wow. I do need to know that. Okay. You need to have emergency plans as well. Okay. But in this case, we're talking about the healthcare settings. Okay. Slide 9, PPE. Don't get it twisted. What PPE is personal protective equipment. If you see that on your test and it's a multiple choice question, you know what it is now. Okay. There are many things that you need to know for this exam. I would rather you guys go into the exam knowing what's coming at you. So it's good for you to just learn everything. When you get the CPC guide, read it and take notes. Whatever note you're going to use for your exam, let's say it's your CPT book, just put notes in your CPT book. Okay, put notes in your CPT book. Don't put them all over. Okay, this is one you should put in there because they're going to give you like 4 or 5 different scenarios of what PPE is. Okay, personal protective equipment, common PPE in healthcare settings: gloves, masks, gowns, shoe covers. So again, just take heed to that. Why it matters for billers, even in non-clinical roles, you may be exposed. You see. That's why you have to be careful. Many, many, many years ago, many moons ago, I started out actually as a CNA. And we were on the floor. My sister and I both started at the hospital, and we were on the same floor. We were just in different times. But I mean, we had to be so precarious of people who had HIV, people who had AIDS. We had to be I mean, we were all paranoid, but they had us locked up, but that's not why I moved away from the OR. Okay. But it still matters. Okay. Okay. Working in shared office space, the proper use of PPE helps prevent infection and protects your health, especially when COVID came. Girl right in front of me, okay, barking. I mean, seriously barking. This was around COVID. I knew she had it. But at that time, nobody even knew what COVID was. Nobody even knew. We just noticed people in the train. She's coughing. He's coughing. You know, I don't think I actually got it, but there was one point when I had a horrible cough, And that was it. It just went away. Okay. So now I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I had that last shot. Now my ear has not stopped ringing since. I know I'm not the only one. One of my besties, that happened to her too. She had got the last shot, and it was a different shot than the one we took the first time, and it just okay. So slide 10, key components of HIPAA. Okay, privacy rule. Okay, protects the use and disclosure of protected health information. Okay, so now we ain't on OSHA, we on HIPAA now, right? Security rule. Make sure you know the security rule. Now, in your medical insurance billing book, okay, you guys on YouTube, you have your medical insurance billing and you have your workbook. Do the exercises in the workbook, and there are exercises in your reading book. Sapphire Academy students, you have tests to do, you have exams to do. Okay. I'm looking at one of yours PowerPoints. I think I have to add more with HIPAA in there. I have to look and see. Maybe not the HIPAA. Yeah, HIPAA and OSHA. Okay, so you got to get a test on that. All right. So let me just see something right here. I remember turning that off. I want to make sure that it was on. Okay. So just watch that. Up. Title 1 and Title 2. Make sure you know the difference between Title 1 and Title 2. Title 1, Insurance Reform, Portability of Coverage. Title 2, Administrative Simplification. Okay. Now, when I create my slides, I try to make sure that I put everything in there. I could just think. If I think of something while I'm creating a slide, I'm putting it in there. And this is one of the things, because I could see this being on the exam. They may say, what's Title 1, what's Title 2, just study that. Okay. Whether you study it with Sapphire Academy or you study it on your own. Okay. Slide 11, high tech. Now, high tech act is in one of your medical insurance billing books. I think I'm from 2014 up. They're pretty much almost the same, but I prefer you guys to get the new books if you can. Okay. High Tech Act 2009. No, that is the Act of 2009. Okay. Health Information Technology for Economic and Clinical Act. Major update to HIPAA. Okay, so it's going to fall into that same type of category. All right, and this was a question that just stood out to me. This is what was added to it: made business associates directly liable. Make sure you study this. Okay, my suggestion is anything on these slides that's not familiar to you, put them on index cards and make sure you study them. Okay. Okay, so slide 12. Entities subject to HIPAA, covered entities, health plans, health clearinghouses, healthcare providers who transmit health information electronically, business associates, okay, anyone who performs functions involving the use or disclosure of PHI. Okay, on behalf of the covered entity. Just read it. I'm not going to go through all of them. What do I have? A double slide? Yeah, 12 and 12. Okay, so this is just a double slide. I just put it in there twice. All right, so patient rights under HIPAA, right to access and obtain a copy of their medical records. Okay, you guys can pretty much read the rest of that. The gist of this is to know that your coding exam is not just about the coding. Okay, you will see some functioning activities in there because the first section of your CPC guide is the business of medicine. So you're going to have medical billing in there. One of your chats that I'm going to do at some point is called hierarchy providers, I think, and the hierarchy providers are the doctors. So we ain't going to talk about that now because I'm going to talk about that then. Okay, here we just kind of breezing through, but we're going to get to that one. Okay, right to receive a notice of privacy practice. Okay, and that's usually posted up in the doctor's office, or downstairs in the hospital. Okay, HIPAA and medical billing coding. As billers and coders, you handle PHI daily. Of course you do. Some of you who that are familiar to billing, you guys are just getting into it. Okay, take heed to this. Okay, you must follow privacy and security rules. Okay, you got patient social security numbers, you got patient date of birth, you got name, last name, whether they're married, their home address, their job. All these things. Okay, because they are on the information. Most of it is on the HIPAA. You must report any suspected breach immediately. Okay, violation may result in heavy fines. Now, in your book, the fines are also there. Just take heed to them. Okay, you get 10 years, whether you know or whether you don't know. So just be careful, and you can be fined. Okay. They might ask how many years. I don't know if I have it in here, but if it is, it is. If it's not, it's in your medical insurance billing book. Okay. So best practice of compliance. Use current HIPAA and OSHA guidelines. You can always go on CMS and type this in. Okay. You can type HIPAA and OSHA in. They should give you some kind of information about it if you don't have a book. Okay. So, when you guys are working in the office, this is pretty much our protocol every day. Okay. Complete required training, secure all PHI lock screen shred documents. I mean, you have doctor's offices, they forbid you to walk away without locking it. Some of them just let your screen close. No, you don't have to close and lock it. Okay. Because you have some supervisors that's going around and check. I don't go around and check because I really don't have to. If I'm in my office and somebody's at the computer, I literally can hit a button and see what she's doing. If it's time for her to go to lunch at 12 o'clock, I'm logging on her screen at 11:55. I'm not getting up and hitting no button. Okay. I know it's cliche, but supervisors and directors, we do things like that. Okay. So compliance protects patients, workers, and your professional license. Absolutely, it'll be taken away. Okay, key takeaways. HIPAA 1996. Okay, make sure you know protects patient privacy and health information. High Tech 2009. That means that when it was generated, 2009, 1996, strengthened HIPAA and promoted EHRs. This is where your EHR protection comes from. Okay, PPE is a key part of OSHA compliance. OSHA ensures safe workplace. Okay, why these laws matter to you: protects the patient's rights, keeps you and your workers safe, helps prevent costly fines, demonstrates professionalism, are tested on the CPC. Okay, are tested on the CPC. What I would do if you're new to medical billing, if you're new to coding, um, start your study now. Do it like 2 hours a week and then boost it up. Go further. Okay, if you're working and you need to get it in there for an hour, get it in there. Okay. So slide 18, exam and career tips. Know the main rules of HIPAA, High Tech, and OSHA. Understand covered entities, business associates, breach notifications. Be familiar with common OSHA standards and PPE. Type that in. You can type it in on YouTube. They'll show you. Always use the most current, guys. YouTube has so much stuff on it. Trust me, you can get some clues on YouTube. Okay, clues on YouTube. Blues clues, right? Oh my goodness. Final thought. Student notes, print or save this lesson for future web. Now you guys can't do that. This is the Sapphire class. They're gonna do this. HIPAA protects against the patient. OSHA, PPE protects against the worker. Together they help you become a compliant, ethical, and successful billing or coder. Okay. So we want to make sure that these little things. They're not little, they're actually big things, but they're going to tell you what they actually focus on, especially Title 1 and Title 2. I wanted to elaborate a little more on those two because they're not that familiar. You guys are not that familiar with different types of aspects of HIPAA. Okay. You hear it, HIPAA, you hear it, but the detail of it is a little bit more trickier. Okay. I'm not gonna go through it. You guys can go ahead and go back over this slide and go over it. Okay. Title 2, same thing. I want you to go over everything. Administrative simplification. Okay. I put it at the top so you guys should know. Title 1, HIPAA insurance form. You want to read that. Title 2, HIPAA administration simplification. Now, those of you who are in Sapphire Academy, you guys have this already. I don't need to hold your hand. I don't micromanage. You sign up for my class, you on your own. I'm in the portal back and forth. Every now and then I'm in the portal. I do live classes on YouTube. That's when y'all gonna get me, when I do live classes on YouTube. Unless I'm in the portal and I'm either discussion boarding you or I'm sending you an email or we're talking in the portal. So most times I'm in the portal maybe like 2 or 3 hours or something like that. I'm actually in the classroom. Other than that, I'm going to be on the YouTube because doing the classes on YouTube is easier for you guys. Okay, so if you're in the Sapphire Academy, usually when I do a video, I'm jumping in the Sapphire Academy in case you guys have any questions. Do not forget, Sapphire Academy is sapphirecoding.com. You guys can register in the portal. Okay, register in the portal. There's two programs in the portal. That's $49, and the other one is $99. It's just coding. Okay, and don't forget, you guys can do a payment plan. Okay, so let's move on. Final thought: print or save XYZ. OSHA protects XYZ, such and such and such. We just want to make sure we clarify that. Print it. Okay, print this. Those of you who are on YouTube, I don't know. I think you can print this if you want to. It's not that serious. You can go ahead and print this. The most in-depth of the class is actually in the classroom, okay? But anything to help you do what you need to do. So remember to complete your summary based on today's lesson. Now, this is for Sapphire Academy. If you want to, that's fine. And this is just, I normally put what this is at the end of each PowerPoint because you all have to give me an essay. I'm talking about the Sapphire Academy, and it's not necessarily I'm going to grade it. I'm going to ABCD it. So don't make. I mean, I've had students copy and paste on the essay. Wow, and you're the one taking the test. So don't teach yourself. Okay, don't teach yourself. Even though my course, it's $1,300. But when I give you guys a discount, don't do the discount. I'm going, oh well, forget it. Okay, because you could have came in when it was $1,349. Okay, take it seriously. Okay, y'all can read this when the class is over. So this is a quick class. That's why I just did it like this. And this is the information how you get us. All right, Corinne is your administrator. She's the one who sends out the emails and all of the welcome stuff. She's the one who gives you your email and password. Okay. Your grant code, if you have one, she'll send it to you in an email. Okay. So OSHA compliance is finished. All right. Like I said, this was just a quick video. Make sure you take heed to it. I know I got the cardiology thing behind me, but I wanted to use that so bad I just put it up there. Next time we'll have a different one. But I'm going to see you guys. Okay. This is the end of your OSHA class. I have another one up. I don't know what it was. I got to look at it. I think there's another one. I'm probably going to cancel that one because you really only have one. And the other one I really don't need. So I'll probably cancel that one. Just remember that compliance is a monster. Okay. Compliance is a monster. You get 3 questions. If you get one wrong, it's a lot wrong. Okay, you're talking about 33.9.5 for each question. You can't get more than one wrong. If you get 2 wrong, you failed. You failed that category. So when I say, and as a matter of fact, I don't want to give it away because I got a class going on with that one. I might do it after this one. I don't know. This is recorded. You got 3 questions, right? If you miss one, you're still good. You get 66. Okay, you're still good. Your average won't go down that much. Okay. If you get all 3 of them, you get 100. Okay. It doesn't matter about the 66 because they're still going to round it off to a 70. Okay. Yeah, they're going to round it off. Just make sure you take heed to this. I'm going to do another class on this. I got to figure out what's going to be in there. I'm not even sure. I forgot. But I know I have another class for you guys for compliance. Okay. So I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to post this in 5 minutes. You guys look out for those YouTubes. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and watch those videos. Okay. Get yourself ready for your exam. Gone.